Every morning on bus route 12, while the city of Coronado was still half asleep, he appeared like an unshakable part of the rhythm of life. No one knew exactly where he lived, but at precisely 5:45 a.m., whether in a storm, heavy rain, or cold, the bus always started the same way: wipe the mirrors, check the clock, start the engine never a second off. He never greeted anyone, never made small talk, never smiled. What he carried with him was silence, shaped like iron discipline. The nameplate on his chest read Taylor, but most people just called him Boost because of the heavy military boots he wore every day, regardless of the transit uniform. His eyes were calm, yet watchful, always scanning the mirrors with cold precision. With Taylor, nothing was ever unnecessary tap of the pedal. Every gear shift was crisp, deliberate, like a drill from Special Forces training. People said he was a bus driver, but in truth, he was on a mission, quiet, consistent, never missing a beat. That morning, a young SEAL recruit boarded the bus just before dawn. His hair still smelled of aftershave, his uniform freshly pressed, his footsteps carrying that unmistakable military poise. But the moment he stepped onto the bus, his gaze was immediately drawn to the driver's seat. There was something about Taylor that made it impossible to dismiss him as just another old driver. Taylor didn't speak, he didn't turn his head, but every gesture, every movement radiated an eerie precision. The way he checked his mirror slow, even thorough. The way he adjusted his C-tone motion, no more, no less. His left hand rested on the steering wheel with a grip so perfect, it could have been lifted straight from a tactical training manual. The young recruit didn't know why, but he suddenly felt as if he was standing before someone extraordinary. As the bus turned east, the first rays of morning sunlight streamed through the windshield and fell directly on Taylor's left forearm, where his shirt sleeve was always rolled up. And there it was, faint but unmistakable beneath his sun-weathered skin, the trident tattooed eternal symbol of the Navy SEALs. In that moment, the recruit understood. He wasn't just a bus driver. He had once been a warrior. And maybe, just maybe, he still was. Only now, in a different form. The next morning, the young soldier boarded the bus early again, this time choosing the same seat, close to the driver's cabin. He didn't say a word the entire ride. He just observed. When the bus stopped at the station near the base and most passengers had already disembarked, the young man leaned forward slightly and spoke in a low, steady tone. "Sir, were you in?" A short question, but full of respect. Taylor didn't turn around. He simply glanced in the rearview mirror and replied, "I was." Just 2 words. Nothing more. But in that moment, no further explanation was needed. A young soldier and an old warrior understood each other through a single glance, through silence. Not distance, but a deep, quiet form of respect. From that day on, the silence on the bus wasn't just a habit. It became something sacred, a ritual between two generations in uniform. That same afternoon, the story of the trident tattoo on the Route 12 bus driver's arm spread like wildfire. Private Harder recruit, who had first spoken to Taylor, couldn't keep it to himself. He whispered it to a few buddies, and before long, the word had spread across the entire base. "He was a SEAL. I'm sure of it," Harder said. "I saw the tattoo," and he confirmed it. Everyone who heard it was stunned and then fell silent. A silence filled with awe. That night, a post appeared on a military subreddit. "Does anyone know the Route 12 bus driver in Coronado? Saw a trident. Heard he's a former SEAL." Dozens of comments followed. No one knew for sure, but everyone was curious. In the military world, men like Taylor weren't everyday occurrences. They were legends, hiding in plain sight. A few days later, in the early morning, Taylor's bus was no longer quiet. 6, then 8, then 10 recruits lined up neatly, waiting to board. No one said much. Each simply nodded as they passed the cabina, small gesture packed with enormous respect. To them, this wasn't just a bus ride anymore. This was a journey of honor. Harder and the other recruits started calling the bus their live classroom, learning from the way he drove, from his discipline, his awareness. Taylor remained the same, silent, unbothered, driving with chilling precision. But somehow, that silence taught them more than any lesson ever could. Now and then, he began to speak their names, offering short, sharp pieces of advice. His presence alone became a source of strength, of drive for the young soldiers. One early Monday morning, Route 12 showed up with a new driver. No one said anything, but everyone noticed the absence. The bus still ran, still on time, but the braking was a touch slow, the turns a bit too soft, the eyes behind the mirror lacking that familiar depth. The recruits accustomed to Taylor's silent precision felt a strange emptiness. 3 days passed. On Wednesday morning, Taylor returned. Same old boots, same routine. But this time, right behind his driver's seat, there was a triangular glass case, and inside it, neatly folded, was an American flag. No explanation. No one needed to ask. As the bus rolled forward, Harder quietly removed his cap and placed it over his heart. The other soldiers followed. No one signaled, no one spoke, but they all understood someone was gone. 3 years after the Trident tattoo was first noticed, Bus Route 12 had become something sacred in the lives of service members in the coastal town. For many young recruits, stepping onto Taylor's bus felt like a silent ritual, quiet reminder that honor doesn't live in medals, but in how you live your life. When news came that Taylor was retiring, there was no grand ceremony, no speeches of gratitude. He had specifically asked for none of it, but the others couldn't let his final morning pass like any other. That day, the bus arrived early at the first stop, and every seat was already taken. They didn't wear uniforms, but their posture and eyes said it all. Soldiers, past and present. No one spoke during the 40-minute ride. They all sat in silence, like a national anthem without music. When the bus reached the station, dozens of passengers stepped off and formed two lines, standing on either side of the exit. No clapping, no phones. They simply stood at attention, as if bidding farewell to a commander after his final mission. Harder now, an officer waited beside a navy blue pickup truck. He opened the door and asked gently, "Need a ride, Commander?" Taylor paused, then nodded. "Appreciate it, Lieutenant." No one took a photo. But hours later, one image is snapped from a distances spread throughout the military community. An older man with a backpack over one shoulder, walking between two silent lines of soldiers. The caption read, "Commander Taylor. Never needed a stage, just a steering wheel." In life, not everyone needs a spotlight to prove their worth. Some, like Commander Taylor, never teach with words, never boast of victories, yet leave the deepest impact by simply living right, staying steady, and showing up every single day. The greatest lesson he left, not just for young soldiers, but for all of us, is this. Honor isn't found in what we say. It's found in what we do consistently even when no one's watching. Whether you're driving a bus, running a shop, caring for family, or holding your household together, do it with your whole heart. Because kindness, discipline, and quiet consistency will always be noticed sometimes, not with eyes, but with feeling. If you've ever met a silent hero like Commander Taylor in your own life, share their story in the comments. And if you believe in values like these, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next inspiring story. Thank you for listening.